Hi, I'm Mitchell Warren, Executive Director of AVAC, and each year for almost 20 years now, AVAC has published a report on the state of the world of HIV prevention. And as we get ready for World AIDS Day 2014, we come out now with Prevention on the Line, a report that will come out in full in January, but we wanted to give people a sense of what was on our mind and what were top priorities. HIV prevention in 2014 comes at a really critical time that can help us lead to fewer new infections, but also at a critical time because prevention could be left behind if we don't prioritize it and resource it appropriately. So this year's report really looks at what that needs to look like in 2015 and beyond. In the midst of target setting and goals being established by agencies all over the world, we wanted to look at targets that worked historically and what targets need to look like in the future. The starting point, of course, is 90-90-90, a goal that UNAIDS established earlier this year that focuses on getting 90% of people to know their status, 90% of them to get on antiretroviral treatment, and 90% of those to be virologically suppressed. That is a bold, ambitious goal that we should be striving for, but it's not enough. We try to articulate in this year's report that to really mind the gap of target setting, that ending this epidemic is never about any one intervention, and that if we're really going to be serious about ending the epidemic, in UNAIDS' terms by 2030, which in itself is a bold and ambitious goal, we need to be comprehensive in all forms of prevention and treatment, as well as in the fundamental need for human rights and eliminating stigma and discrimination. Because as elegant as the science has been to get us to this point, it's only when we deal with the basic human rights for both prevention and for treatment that we can actually be successful. We also look in the report at targets that have worked historically in the AIDS response. Perhaps most famously, the 3x5 initiative, declared by Jim Kim, then at the World Health Organization, now at the World Bank. People didn't think it was possible to get 3 million people on antiretroviral therapy by 2005. But as Jim Kim described, setting a feasible target, but one that was a stretch, one that needed new resources, one that needed new ways of working, needed to be held accountable, that all of that came together, and although that target itself was not met, the fact that we have over 12 million people on antiretroviral therapy today is a testament to how a target can change the way in which the world works. The second example actually is more recent. In 2011, on World AIDS Day, President Obama recognized the critical importance of voluntary medical male circumcision that was scientifically proven but not yet being delivered at scale. He put out a really ambitious target to deliver 4.7 million circumcision procedures with PEPFAR funding. People didn't think it could be done. The programs weren't ready. People weren't there to be interested in circumcision. And yet setting the target and resourcing the target and in holding programs accountable for delivery reached the target. And in fact, male circumcision today is delivering impact in reducing new infections for men and for women in the key countries where it needs to be. What's the lesson in all of that? Well, the final section in this brief report looks at what it takes to be successful in setting targets. It's about making them feasible, about identifying the resources that are needed, and about holding people accountable for delivery, and having periodic but frequent checks on if we're having progress. So setting a goal of ending the epidemic by 2030, setting a goal of reduced infections by 2020, as UNAIDS did last week, and the whole 90-90-90 target for 2020. Those are critically important, but we will only achieve them if we understand what needs to happen by June 2015, and by World AIDS Day, a year from now, 2015. And when the world gathers in Durban for the International AIDS Conference in July 2016, we need to know then if we are on track for 90-90-90, and to reduce the new infections to no more than 500,000 by 2020. We don't want to wait until 2020 to find out if we were successful. We need to know that we are on the right track. And we need to know that HIV prevention is appropriately resourced and is clearly part of a comprehensive, sustained response if we're really going to end this epidemic. So read more at avac.org and be in touch with us so we know your priorities for 2015 and beyond, and that together we set targets that aren't just aspirational, but are feasible to end this epidemic. Thanks very much.